Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm back here at WMT for our chant class. Thank you. It's nice to see you too. Yeah. Have you been good, girls? No, you haven't. How is everyone today? Anyone has any questions, comments, things I'd like to discuss? It's rather hot here at Way Mountain Temple. And I first thought I walked in here, it was so hot that I turned on my personal fan, a small fan, a Rwanda fan, a very low speed, like a whisper speed. And after a while, about half an hour, 40 minutes later, I had to turn it off because it's getting cold. The reason I brought it up is because I remember one of Master Hsuan disciples, he recounted on when Master Hsuan was at Long Beach Monastery, which is about 45 minutes drive from here at WMT. He was lecturing in the summertime, and they're very frugal. He didn't turn on the AC, and so this young novice monk who was attending to him, he was saying that he stood behind Master Hsuan in his Dharma seat, and he saw how Master Hsuan was sweating in the back profusely. I said, wow, how interesting. I love to hear stories like that from his disciples to sort of like reconstruct what his life was like and what he was doing. Because this is one of my biggest regrets in life, was to come too late. By the time I came, he was on his way out. And he was in great pain, but he compassionately accepted me, if you will, and trapped me into becoming a monk. Had he not accepted me as a novice and let me suffer for 4.5 years within his temples, I would have not continued to do this. For 4.5 years at his temple, so he made me wait for about 6 months at the seated 10,000 Buddhas. After he allowed me to leave the home life, and then he shaved my head, and within like 4 or 5 months later, he died. And that's the beginning of a lot of suffering for me. In the hands of his disciples. Those good people are still continuing to make me suffer, but he doesn't seem to bite as much anymore. But the thing is that I wish I had come a little bit earlier, because until I came around, I was basically wasting my life. I just chasing after, like a dog chasing after its tail. It's no meaning. It's one thing after another, pursuing one thing after another. And in the end, you have a little bit of fun when you have a drink, when you eat a good meal, have a good time with your friends. But in the end, when you go home, there's still this sense of emptiness, of what's it all about, you know? Whereas with cultivation, I think I've found my stride, and I'm a lot more content, I would say. And I bring up missing my master is that I regret not being able to do this earlier, because I'm too old now. I can't do much anymore. And I can't wait for my children to grow up and, be self-sufficient. And they still need me to pay for the mortgage and, the cars and the stipends of pocket money and so forth. Because if I didn't, they would have to worry about making ends meet, like most monks and nuns, that would be a shame. I went to Vietnamese temple this week because one of my disciples up there talked about it. So I said, well, it sounds interesting. Let me go over there and take a look. And I met this abbess of the temple. And it's a very poor temple. I like poor temples. I'm not impressed with rich temples. Okay. And I really like poor temples. And so they bought this land at the same time as we bought Gold Forest. A lot bigger than ours. Ours like 9,000 square feet. Theirs about 22,000 square feet. So it's a lot bigger. And I'm told that the buildings were dilapidated, so they basically bought a piece of land and they had to build from scratch. And I can't mention the name because it's built illegally. And so I went over there and took a look, and I noticed everything is cheap. It's a lot cheaper than ours. I said, wow, I have so much. My disciples keep complaining that, we go to Chinese temples, we feel so bad, we're so inferior, so poor. When I looked at a Vietnamese temple, I said, wow, they're really poor, aren't they? Things they used to build at, say, area for the Wan Yin statue outside, it's shoddily done. It's so cheap. Materials very, very cheap. Our statues at Wei Mountain Temple, at least, you see, a little bit of stuff. But there is so very poor quality. And I walk into the buildings, it's primarily a big area where they were, Vietnamese temples or Korean temples. Typically, the Buddha halls are very, very small because they don't have the big Dharma assembly like the Chinese do, like we do. So they have a big area for a dining area, okay, and also kitchen. It's all illegal, of course. And so I got in there and bought a few things, and I met the abbess. I said, wow, how interesting that they can be this poor, because usually Vietnamese temples have been around for that long, usually tend to do well. Sales Vietnamese are pretty nice. They're very supportive of all the temples. Actually, Vietnamese temples in the San Jose area, they're building. They're the same thing. They buy a lot and buy a next lot, and then they get a permit and apply for a permit, eventually build a big temple. Okay, and so before for them to be this kind of run down in a way, very low quality materials, I was surprised. And so I met the abbess, and I said, wow, it's very rare to find a Vietnamese Sangha who's second stage art. I was pleasantly surprised. So I knew why, and it dawned on me why they're so poor. Okay, they are not attached to money. They're not. You cannot buy them. You cannot influence them. They maintain their dignity and their independence. So on the way back, I asked Xian, I said, so what do you think of the abbess? What level is she? He said, oh, second stage art. He said, wow, you're getting good. I don't have to look at people anymore. From now on, I will ask you. And you see, We poor, so I like poor monks, poor nuns, poor temples. And Master Xinhua too, his temple used to be pretty poor, pretty unimpressive, if you will. And so anyway, I miss Master Xinhua. I really wish I could have met him a lot earlier and let him entrap me and become a monk. But at least if had he done that sooner, I'd be able to stick around and maybe help him out a little, maybe help him live longer. I feel that I could have helped him live longer, because none of his disciples were willing to die for him. I would be willing to die for him. That's how much I idolize him. And so had I left home life earlier, sooner, 10 years sooner, maybe he would have stuck around 10 years longer, Anyway, but I didn't have enough blessings to draw near such a great, great monk. So here you have, all you have is me, lowly me. Okay. Anyone has any questions? Yes, 8.
Hi, Master. I have a question about Universal Worthy Bodhisattva.
Yes.
He has a great vows, and especially second one. Mm-hmm. He says, praise all Buddhas. Mm-hmm. I know what he's praising. I think most of us knows what he's praising. But is there any way, properly praise Buddhas? Would you explain more to us, please?
Okay, very good. Yeah, his second vow is 称赞如来. That's what we pattern our spiritual path after. Those 10 guidelines. So we, 礼敬诸佛, that's the first one, 称赞如来, so to praise the Buddhas. What we do in Buddhism is what we praise Buddhas is what most Buddhist disciples do, we train them to do, is to attend ceremonies. The ceremonies have a lot of praises to the Buddhas. Okay, most of the ceremonies praise the Buddhas. For example, you have the first. We would start with the incense praise. Okay, so with that process, there is we make offerings to the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and praise their virtues. Okay. And so, you see, that right there is the very first thing we do, okay, and we praise them. The second point, the first point, that's the second point. The first point is 礼敬诸佛. So you pay homage and jing and worship the Buddhas. So as soon as you walk into a Buddha hall, that's number one. That's what we do. We bow to the triple jewel. Okay. So the praise there is built in at various spots in the ceremony. Okay. And so that's the most common form of practice for all Buddhists. Okay. And as we learn more when we go into the prologue section we're discussing tonight, we see how Buddhas, when they taught us, gave us the Dharma, they taught us on how to do all those things in order to become a Buddha. But even though those praises that we do here, similarly to the Chinese temples or the Vietnamese temples or Thai temples and so forth, all those, their ceremonies have their various forms of praising the Buddhas. Okay, that's the Dharma has been transmitted to all of us in order to become Buddhas. And yet their teachers are not skilled enough to understand it. And that's why they limit, the achievement for such practices. Okay, and so in our environment, we want to remind you, and we hope you go very far as soon as possible. Okay, because you'll be a lot happier, you'll be a lot better off, and content. So part of that is the praise. And you're correct in asking about that. The praising the Buddhas generates a lot of blessings for you, programs your mindset into the proper frame of mind, better state. Okay, and so when you do ceremonies, concentrate on the praise sections, and that's how you can maximize the effects. And of course, there are auxiliary things that we do. So, for example, by following the Buddha's teachings and practice as taught, we basically are praising the Buddha himself. Okay, because when you practice as you're told and eventually become enlightened, okay, then that's the best form of praising the Buddha by demonstrating what he's about, that his teaching is correct. So praising is not just words, but also in terms of accomplishments. Okay, so your level of accomplishment, the higher your level of accomplishment is actually another form of praise, a higher form of praise of the Buddha from your being yourself, in your living your daily life. Trust me, people notice. Even though they can't put the fingers on it, they notice you're different, and they like you, and then they will come to you when they need help. Yeah, until then they argue with you and pick a fight with you and badmouth you and so forth. That's part of life in a Saha world. But they will notice, they know that you are a special person. Okay? All right. Anyone else? Any other questions? No? Jumi, go ahead. Are you happy that the old abbot is back with you? Yeah? Huh? Is the atmosphere different at JMT? Same as before.
저한테 물어보시나요? 노스님 오셔서 행복하고요. 보산사 전체 분위기는 잘 모르겠어요.
I'm happy that Master C came, but I don't know about the atmosphere of JMT.
Oh, okay.
네, 마스터 질문은 뭐냐면 지금 방금 설명하신 그 부분에 대해서 제가 오래전부터 궁금했었는데요. 네.
So, Master, this is my question. The one you just explained to us, I was wondering for a long time.
그러니까 그 9번째가 부자항순 중생이거든요.
So the ninth vow is saving all living beings and following their wills.
네. 근데 이제 제가 궁금했던 포인트는 어떤 포인트냐면 그게 한국말로 해석을 어떻게 되어 있냐면 중생의 뜻을 따른다예요. 네.
So I was wondering, in Korean explanation, it says accord with their wills?
네. 근데 저는 이제 그게 중생의 뜻을 따르면, 그러니까 저를 포함해서 중생은 탕진치가 있는 걸로 그렇게 얘기할 수가 있는데 중생의 뜻을 따르면 망하지 않나요? 그게 불도가 아니지 않나요?
So if you accord with all living beings' will, then doesn't all living beings have greed, anger, stupidity? So if we follow their wills, then wouldn't we be?
제가 궁금한 건 우리가 새벽립을 할 때 부자 항승 중생인데 그게 어떠한 포인트의 중생의 뜻을 따른다는 건지가 제가 궁금했었어요. 오래전부터. 네, 감사합니다.
So I think if we follow their wills, then it will go bad. Our world will go bad, and I think it's not a Buddha Dharma, the Buddha way. So I'm wondering, what will do we have to follow?
Good question. Anyone? Go ahead, speak anyone why I think. What do you think? So, round number one is to accord with living beings. That's what she's asking about. Yes? And so, how far are we supposed to accord with them? To the point where we're spoiling them or what? Good question. It bothered me too for a long time. I never found the answer, but now today as you brought it up, I said, I have to think about it. Yeah?
마스터 한 가지 더 얘기할 게 있는데요.
Master,
중생들의 네.
Master, I have one more thing.
There's one more thing? Okay, go ahead.
아니 그게 아니. 그러니까 방금 말씀하신 대로 중생들의 뜻을 따른다는 건데 중생들의 뜻이 이해관계가 다 다르니까 중생들이 원하는 게 다 다르니까 도대체 다 맞춰줄 수도 없거니와 이해관계가 다르니까 도대체 이게 제가 이 아침 예불 할 때마다 이거를 10가지를 하는데 어떠한 포인트로 9번을 이해해야 되는지가 제가 궁금한 거예요. 네.
And also, the living beings has different opinions and wills. So they each of them wants different things. So I cannot accord with all of them. So every time I do morning ceremony on this 9th vows, I'm very confused. So I want to know how should I understand this part.
Yeah, what you mean is that you need to accord with one living being A who wants Coca-Cola, and living being B wants Pepsi. So, and you can only which one are you supposed to accord with, Coca-Cola or Pepsi? I recommend Pepsi, of course. If it were for me, I would just I would get Pepsi. Only drink Coca-Cola secretly. Just to spite Mr. Buffet, who owns 10% of Coca-Cola company, which to me I find to be disgusting. Anyway, so specifically, so how do you adjust for the conflict since you have to accord with everyone? It's a very, very good point. What do you think? Anyone? You have plenty of time to look it up already. Okay? With ChatGPT nowadays, it should be automatic for all of you. Chat 4.0 is free, so yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. I think you have to use your own discretion. Obviously, you can't You can't help everybody, anyhow. You have to pick and choose.
Okay.
And then,
So is it Coke or Pepsi?
well, hey, Pepsi.
I like you.
Thank you. But, just move along to the next thing.
What about the person who wants Coke?
Give them Pepsi.
Okay, good point. All right.
I mean, it has to also fit in with what you feel you can actually do.
It's a matter of principle, right? When we stand for Pepsi, we don't like the Coke guy.
Well, but the other part is, it's like when you have children, you have to decide how much you give in to them, or a spouse, how much you give in to them. So
how do you decide? That's what she's asking. Where do I stop?
well, that's all individual, wouldn't you say? It couldn't be hard and fast with everybody.
But she knows that already, so she's looking for a rule of thumb.
Oh,
Right? Jumi, she says, you have to give me a method. You ask me to 随顺众生. You asked me to accord to living beings, but I can't accord living beings. So what am I supposed to do? Yes? To paraphrase in English, the Koreans, they talk a lot. Yeah, so what is a hard and fast rule for her to accord with living beings? It's amazing that my master's disciples never asked that. I'd love to ask that. It takes a person like Jumi who finally, had the courage to bring it up. But, it bothered me too. I said, I don't like her. Why am I supposed to accord with her? Am I supposed to accord to someone I don't like? Am I supposed to accord with orange face? Oh, by the way, now I'm down south, I'm Democrat again. Okay, yeah. Hey, I never forget my roots. Yes, sir, in the back.
Master, in the light of elections coming in November, can we ask who should we vote for? In accord with the dogma?
You have to accord to living beings. It's going to be Democrat, Republicans, or Independent, or I don't care. Okay? So what's a hard and fast rule? Anyone? Does this kind of get you started now? We're talking about getting to venture into, wade into politics? Yes, 8.
Master, in my case, I think I understood as do not reject, having an open mind and ready to listen to them. I think that's where I could start from.
Okay, good point. Yeah. Okay, Son.
네. 안녕하세요, 마스터. 저도
안녕하세요.
말씀하신 것과 같은 생각을 먼저 했습니다. 모든 사람들이 다 각각 원하는 바가 다르고 의견이 다를지라도 우리는 흔히 그 사람을 마주했을 때 내가 싫어하는 것은 일단 리젝트 하려고 하거든요. 그러니까 그런 자세를 버리고 일단 그 사람을 수용하려고 하는 마음을 먼저 내서 모든 중생을 아우러야 된다고 그렇게 혼자서 생각하고 있었습니다. 감사합니다.
So, as like Sarah said, I thought the similar way. All the people has their each wantings and their opinions are all different. So I think we should try to, and all the people actually reject what they don't want. So I think we should get rid of that attitude and try to embrace others' opinions.
Very good. Yes, DTT. I was thinking, by the way, anyone watches the Olympics? I love it. And it's just 3-4 years, once every 4 years. It's just like the event of the year. And I saw an ad for Samsung folding. When you talk to someone, that folding there, the folding phone, they flip the phone up like this. And so when they talk to you, and there's so on the other side, there's a screen as well, so you have simultaneous translation. It's so cool. This is the way of the future. We don't need to learn languages anymore. It's just like it's just instantaneous translation. It's so cool. I'm not suggesting you should give me a Samsung Fold. Okay, I'm an Apple person, but Apple is always behind, like at least 3 years behind. Well, anyway, too much data to migrate to Samsung. Lots of photos. Okay, very good. Excellent. Good point. DTT, go ahead, please.
Jumi, in the chapter 40 of Avatamsaka Sutra, there's an explanation of this number 9, and it's very long compared to the other ones.
Okay.
I remember there's a metaphor like the living beings is like the root of a tree, and then according with living beings like watering the tree, and the fruit is the fruit of wisdom. So the way I looked at it, being a selfish person, I read it and I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this to open my wisdom. So this is ultimately for myself. So after that, I feel it's easier for me to do because the goal is very clear. I do this, I can open wisdom. So that's how I approach it.
Okay, but it still doesn't address directly what to do. Okay, very good. Anyone else? This is, you are so demanding. The Asians would not dare ask such questions because it's most masters would not be able to answer you. This is why I tell you, I'd love to have started 10 years sooner than I have a chance to ask Master Shinha all these questions. And when you ask me, I just, like Ray there, I say, according to Master Shinha, this is what you're supposed to do. But since I can't, I don't have that opportunity. What am I supposed to do? Huh? Anyone else? Good question. Okay. Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, I'm waiting for all of your wise inputs. Anyone? This is what you recite every morning in the morning ceremony. What have you figured out so far? Yeah? It's very important for you in the morning ceremony when you attend that and you recite these 10 vows of universal worthy bodhisattva. You may not be able to understand it yet, okay? But what you're doing is generating tremendous blessing. And I'm so proud of you hearing this question from Jumi. Okay? That it's only when you have a lot of blessings, that's why you will be able to understand why eventually. Okay? We didn't have enough blessings back then, so we didn't even have enough blessing to ask, what does it mean, Master? It takes a lot of blessings to be able to ask the right questions that would help your cultivation tremendously. Yes, DTT.
Master, I think that means don't listen yourself.
It sounds like you're speaking personally.
Yeah, sure.
That's what you do, right? Yeah?
Yes, Master.
Yeah? So can you tell us a personal example of what that's about?
For example, sometimes people demand something, but in my mind, oh, that's not good, that's wrong. But later I recognize, I need to listen, don't listen myself.
I'm proud of you. There's hope for you. Now I look at you as just a pretty voice. Okay, kid, I'm very good. Just the next person, please. There's so many people now. This is very good. I'm so excited. Yeah, you guys this is beginning to pay off. Yes, we have your collective wisdom is so impressive. Go ahead. How do they know it's their turn? Is there a way to let them know it's their turn without me telling them?
Okay, Master Ji.
Call the names? Okay, call the names.
Which one?
Oh, you mean which one? I just said call the names. I thought as a... Go ahead. So, is there a way for us to kind of cue them up? Cue them up? So why don't we do this as a procedure? Because we're going to have a lot of different names and different languages. So as I go through this process here, let me say, let's go to the online responses. Okay, next. And then someone would call the names. Could be in Korean, could be in, God forbid. Huh?
Can I explain a little bit?
Sure, please do.
So
this is,
on Master's screen here, we have a queue of people who raised their hands. But their names are in Korean, so Master's not able to call out the correct name for them.
Yeah, because sometimes I don't recognize a character, and sometimes I pronounce it wrong, you know.
So it would be nice you put an English name.
Aesong.
Thank you, Master.
It doesn't matter. Any name that she recognizes, that's all that matters. Her name should be on the screen, right?
Here we go.
There you go.
윤애선님
Yeah, Aesong.
질문해 주세요.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
감사합니다. 그리고 저는 그 부분에서 중생이라고 말할 때 그 중생이 단지 사람만을 뜻하는 건 아니고 우리가 흔히 표현하는 유정, 이 세상에 법 위에 살고 있는 모든 생물체 그렇게 해석을 했어요. 그래서 해치지 말고 죽이지 말라도 그 중생의 뜻을 따르는 것이라고 생각을 했습니다. 그리고 사람을 대할 때도 매들링하지 말라고 간섭하지 말라고 하는 그 부분도 그 중생의 뜻을 따르는 것 중에 하나라고 생각을 했습니다. 이상입니다.
So when on the ninth vow, when they say all living beings, I thought the living beings doesn't mean only human. I think it's all sentient beings, like all the living beings living in this Dharma realm. That's how I interpret it. So I think not killing them and not harming them is also according with their wills. So also when we deal with humans, if we don't meddle with their problems, I still think it's according with all living beings.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Very good. Excellent. Good point. Next online.
DTT, please.
Master, I think according with living beings is that we don't impose our opinion or thoughts on them and waiting for the chance to have them if the conditions allow.
Very good. But part of the problem that people might have is that we accord with their wills, but what if they're hurting themselves? Or they're doing something really harmful? Are we supposed to accord with accord with them?
Yeah, if they don't ask for help, we cannot do anything.
No, like they said, will you help me go rob a bank? Would you accord with him?
No,
Let's say XL behind you says, I need to buy a new car. Master is not buying me a new car. I need to go rob a bank. Will you help us? Will you help me? You're supposed to accord with me.
We have the principle to follow too. That we have to practice the principle, but then we have to be according.
So you don't accord. In that case, you say, XL, you go rob a bank yourself.
Yes. You don't say that you go rob a bank, that's up to you, but we...
It's up to you. I accord with you that much. Okay, good point. Okay, next.
JMT, please.
청순 중생의 의미는 중생이 깨닫도록 돕는 것이기 때문에.
The meaning of according with all living beings is helping them to be enlightened.
Help them become enlightened? No, they're absolutely not. Accord with living beings. They don't even, in Chinese, they don't even have the word all, which is correct. Okay? Accord with living beings. I hope we don't have an all in a translation to English. All right, anyone else? Yes, next.
Jumi, you're next.
마스터, 이거 좀 대답하시는데 좀 이렇게 좀 대답해 주시는데 좀 용이하시도록 부가 설명을 하면 마스터가 지침 주실 때 늘 하기 싫은 거 하고 죄송한데 약간 이런 말 하면 그런데 컴플레인은 아니고요. 저의 뜻을 그러니까 마스터도 그렇고 제 뜻을 따라주신 적이 없어가지고 아침 예보를 할 때는 중생의 뜻을 따른다고 했는데 맨날 왜 하기 싫은 거 시키고 그러지? 이제 제가 그렇게 해서 이거에 대한 이렇게 의문을 갖게 된 거예요. 포인트는 그래요.
I'm sorry to say this to you, Master, but...
Then don't say it.
그럼 얘기하지 마.
Accord with my desire.
나의 뜻을 따라라. But just to make it easier to answer for you so I can explain more. So when you give us an instruction, you always give me the instruction that I really don't want to do.
Oh no!
So this is not a complaint, but you never followed my will. So every time I do morning ceremony, at the ninth vow, it says, accord with living beings. And I wonder why it says accord with living beings, but you never accord with me.
Okay, very good. Excellent.
좋다.
You're always special, you know that. All right, but in my defense, and Jumi, think about it. If you talk to your husband, he admit that when I don't accord with your will, he likes you better. Yeah? So what do you want me to do? You want me to court your will so that he likes you less? Or you want me not to court with your will so that he likes you more? One or two?
마스터, 컴플레인도 아니고 남편이 저를 좋아하길 바라는 것도 아니고
Just one or
동생의
two.
뜻을 따른다면서 제 뜻을 안 따라주셨는지가 궁금한 거예요. 저도 중생인데.
Master, this is not a complaint. This is just I'm asking.
Yes,
why
sir.
wouldn't you accord with me? I'm a
Yeah.
being too.
Okay, I know you're not complaining, but one or two? Which one? One or two?
죄송한데 저는 정토에 가고 싶을 뿐이에요.
I'm sorry, but I just want to go to Pureland.
Okay, next.
JMT, please.
부산사.
Di Đà Phật. Cái đây cũng là một cái thắc mắc của con. Thuận chúng sanh như thế nào? Thì hàng thuận chúng sanh tức là cái ý nghĩa là mình hy sinh cái của mình để mình làm vui lòng người ta. Thì tùy theo cái nghiệp báo của mình và mình muốn hy sinh tới bao nhiêu %. Vậy cho nên mình muốn cho bao nhiêu. Mình tùy thuận thôi chứ không phải mình cho hết, mà tùy theo cái phước báo và cái trí tuệ của mình, lần lần nó sẽ phát triển. Đừng có nào cho anh thế nào cho đúng, thế nào sai. Tùy theo
He's old, so that's why you have to encourage him.
Mình dịch đi không?
나이 들어서 그렇다.
Nghe chưa?
Yeah. Continue.
Nghe rõ chưa?
Yeah.
Tức là mình dùng cái wisdom của mình đó, mình quyết định là mình tùy thuận cỡ nào và tùy thuận ra sao. Theo cái wisdom của mình. Cái hy sinh của mình, cái ngã mình chấp tới đâu. Ví dụ những vị Bồ Tát người ta có thể cho cái gì đó trong bộ phận người ta cho chúng sanh, mình cho không nổi. Thì tâm của mình tới đâu. Cô đừng có là không cho hay là cho.
Okay.
Thì theo cái tâm của cô và cái trình độ của cô.
What happened? All the nuns now follow you.
모든 비구니가 널 따르고 있다.
JMT.
부산사에서.
All of them, they abandoned JC. They went to JMT.
불화선언을 버리고
You notice that?
부산사에 갔네.
Anyway. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? He draws girls.
어렵지 않니? 여성들이 끌어들이고 있다.
Rồi thứ hai nữa là cái thắc mắc của tôi rất là lâu nay. Thì tôi tìm được câu giải đáp là mình học Phật á, như thầy Vĩnh Hóa cũng có giảng đó, là mình học Phật để mình làm vui chúng sanh và phục vụ chúng sanh. Mục đích của cái đức đạo Phật và Đức Phật đều như vậy hết. Mình làm vui chúng sanh và phục vụ chúng sanh. Mục đích chúng ta học Phật. Thì tôi tìm câu trả lời được là trong cái cuốn Thủ Lăng Nghiêm Tam Muội á, kinh Thủ Lăng Nghiêm Tam Muội, Đức Phật dạy thế này: con nguyện phát nguyện thành Phật để con giúp đỡ chúng sanh và làm vui chúng sanh. Kẻ nào phát nguyện được như vậy, 10 phương chư Phật rất là vui mừng, là món quà cúng dường lớn nhất, và cuộc đời hành giả coi như đã xong. Tức là chư Phật sẽ take care chuyện đó cho mình. Đó là để trả lời câu hỏi của cô đó. Không phải đời này đâu. Đầu thai rất là nhiều đời nhiều kiếp cô sẽ làm được cái đó. Cách cuối cùng là gì? Cô nguyện thành Phật để cô làm vui chúng sanh, hằng thuận chúng sanh, giúp đỡ chúng sanh. Phương chư Phật rất là vui mừng. Đó là món quà cúng dường lớn nhất đối với cô, đối với chư Phật. Thì chư Phật sẽ take care cuộc đời của cô. Không cần lo như thế nào hết. Cô chỉ cần thành thật phát nguyện như vậy đi thì sẽ được. Cuốn Thủ Lăng Nghiêm Tam Muội á.
Amitabha Master, this is also my question about constantly in accord with living beings. how do we constantly in accord with living beings, is that we sacrifice what we have to please other people. It depending on our karma and retributions and how much we can sacrifice, how many percent, depending on our blessings and our wisdoms. Gradually it will develop. And we have to use our wisdom to determine whether and how we are going to accord with living beings. In that way, by sacrificing our ego and we sacrifice our attachment. So, for example, Buddha and Bodhisattva, they also sacrifice their body, what inside of them. But when you cannot do that, then we cannot question. We cannot follow. It's up to us. We cannot follow in accord like the way they did. Second is that this is the question I also asked myself for a while, and I found the solution is that when we study Buddha Dharma, just like Master explained, is that we are trying to please living beings and serve living beings. And if you have that kind of purpose, that's how you study Buddha Dharma. So I learned this from Shurangama Samadhi Sutra. It says that if you make a vow to become a Buddha in order to help crossover living beings and make them happy, rejoice, those who can do that will make the Buddha rejoice. And this is the biggest gift that you've done to the Buddha. So if you can truly be able to do that, the Buddha will take care of you, and that's all.
Okay, so let me ask you then, Abbot, how often do you constantly accord with living beings in your daily life?
Trong cuộc sống hàng ngày thì mình có thể làm được người ta vui cái gì đó thì mình cứ làm. Nó tùy theo cái wisdom cái ngày đó, hoặc là cái sức khỏe hay cái gì đó của mình có thể món đó mình cho, có thể ngày khác mình không cho, nhưng mà nó tùy theo cái nãy con nói là tùy theo cái nghiệp và cái wisdom của mình mỗi ngày đó. Lâu lâu con có làm được những cái món rất quý mà người ta cần để giúp người ta, thì con hy sinh rất là vui vẻ. Bắt đầu mình xuất ra mình cũng đau đó, nhưng mà rất là vui vẻ. Thì tập luyện thôi, chứ không mình đâu phải là Bồ Tát mà mình cho tất cả, nhưng mà lấy cái đó là mục tiêu. Bớt cái ích kỷ, cái chấp ngã của mình thôi, chứ không có gì hết đó.
Okay.
So in my daily practice, in my life, if I can do anything that as much as possible that I can to be able to please other people, it depending, again, as I say, is our karma and our wisdom. Depending also on my health as well. So if that's gift that people really, really want and really treasure, sometime I will be able to do so. If I can give it out, I'll give it out, even though I feel very painful, very hurt. But I'm not a Buddha, I'm not Bodhisattva that I can do it all the time. Sometimes I was able to do that, but then once I was able to do it, I realized that it is just, the pain is there, it's just my attachment to the self.
Okay, very good. Okay. I'm really, honestly, let me tell you, this is not, I'm trying to blow up smokes here. Never mind, I don't know, I forgot the expression. I'm really pleased with your perceptive questions. But I have a problem. If I tell you, unfortunately, the Chinese literature, I feel, does not do a good job explaining to you what to do. This is why whatever literature you quoted and whatever you could understand so far falls short of what is the best way to 恒顺众生, to constantly accord with living beings. That's why you basically are unclear, and the Chinese are unclear, and so that's why they could not ask. They didn't have the proper foundation or had the Mahayana blessing to ask how to resolve this issue, because this is the quintessential cultivation process for us. Okay, we call ourselves American Mahayana, we call ourselves American Chan, American Pureland, and so forth. There's all pattern after all these, all 10 vows of universal worthy bodhisattva. Okay, says JMT, quickly, I'm running out of time.
난 시간이 없습니다.
중생은 인연에 따릅니다.
Follow the conditions.
Okay, accord with condition, not follow. Jesus, the English here will be better eventually.
더 나아질 것이다.
Okay, here's my answer for you. But wait, this is not available in Asian wisdom. For sure it's not available in English. So we'll give it to you for free. We sort of missed the opportunity to monetize this, to make money, right? Then maybe I shouldn't give you the answer. Because I keep on giving you freebies like this, I'll be poor the rest of my life. Forever. Already poor. Okay, fine. You convince me. Okay. There are two classes of people, enlightened people and not unenlightened people. Okay? So this teaching here, 恒顺众生 here, constantly accord to living beings, applies to both. So therefore, the answer for you should be clear to both of you. Unfortunately, my generation never asked my Chinese master, so all I have to offer you is my interpretation. And please take it with a grain of salt, okay? Because I'm probably wrong. So if you are an enlightened person, then you cannot always accord with living beings. When can you not accord with living beings? When they go against the precepts. You do not accord with them. Okay? If you're enlightened, if I classify you, I certify you to be enlightened already, okay, then you are not. You can use your wisdom. If you're 1G or higher, you can use your wisdom. You have more room, more freedom to accord with living beings. But below 1G, if they are against the precepts that we taught you, you don't have to accord with them. For example, they want to kill themselves. Okay, a woman recently came to help, and then I explained to her, and she's still just a leech. Okay, and she tried to kill herself. Okay, if we are not enlightened, then you are not supposed to help her. If you're enlightened, let her. It's okay. Okay, so my point, I'm joking, of course. Oh my God, you guys are so serious. Can't we joke a little bit? Okay, so my point being, seriously, if you are not you're 1G or below, You have the line where you don't cross, where if they want to hurt someone, hurt themselves, or break the precepts, do things that are against the precepts, we cannot accord with them. If you're 1G or above, you have more room. Because even when people are trying to break precepts, okay, this is a chance for you to learn about your prajna wisdom and see how far you can go, okay? So there's a slight difference here between the two groups of people. 1G and above, you have a lot more freedom, okay? Below 1G, you stop. You say, I can't help you, okay? You have to know your limitations. You don't have enough wisdom to really be able to accord with living beings to break precepts. We can't do that. That's not what the Buddha's teaching is about. We don't accord with living beings when we don't have wisdom, okay? And we cannot allow ourselves to help others break precepts because that's against our precepts. So far, so good? That's a big no-no. If you're not 1G yet, do not. Don't go there, okay? I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm limited, okay? The old abbot there, I asked him a question, very subtle. I asked it, how often do you constantly accord to living beings? He says, not very often. Precisely. You need to reach a certain level before you're able to really accord to living beings, okay? After you have wisdom. Okay, so it's a process. So what is the rule of thumb finally? Okay, the rule of thumb I give all of you, given that I gave you the range already, if you're below 1G, don't go there. If it's about breaking precepts, you cannot. You're above 1G, you can go a little bit more and more and more and more. You can try, okay? That's a range, okay? But what is the rule of thumb then for all of you that applies to both of you to fulfill this number 9 vow of universal worthy bodhisattva? Let me tell you, the Chinese don't have it. This is why I need to teach you so that you can surpass them. Okay? I don't have much time left. I need to review a lot of things for you so that you surpass the Chinese, so that when the Chinese come to you, the Asian come to you and say, see, we own Mahayana. And you can look at them and say, you don't understand Mahayana. Okay? For number 9, what you do, okay, besides the domain, the range where you can execute number 9, is that you constantly accord to living beings, and this constantly applies to what? Constantly accord with living beings wishes that you are afflicted about. Okay, so for example, someone asks you, Master asks you, I want a red car. It's just an example. Master wants a red car and it bothers you. You say, gee, he's a monk. Why do we want a red car? You know, has he thought about the maintenance costs, the insurance? Who's going to drive it? It's only 2 people. On and on. So you're afflicted about it, okay? So what you do is, because if you're really afflicted about it, then you give me money to buy a red car. Thank you. My point being, Heng Shun Zhong Sheng here is a process of cultivation where in the process of trying to accord with living beings, which one do you choose? Okay? You choose the one that really bothers you most, and you try to accord with them. Okay? That's our secret that the Asians don't have. This is why the Asians struggle so much. It's so slow. Okay, thank you everyone. Good luck to all of you.